Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic I'm going to talk about how the narcissist will drive past your house, because this is something that keeps reoccurring, especially when you're dealing with narcissists, and once you wake up to what narcissism is, once you see the spiritual side of it, you get the dreams, you start reading, seeing through people, you can hear people's thoughts, you know what the narcissist is planning on doing next before it happens. Once you get that type of discernment, what you will notice is that most narcissists will either flee away from you, they won't look back, they won't hoover you, and maybe when you weren't fully awake, if you really look back and pay attention to certain people in your life, whether you were aware that they were narcissists or not, you will realize that some of these people kept showing up in your life, meaning that they kept looking for you. So years later, if they saw you on social media, or maybe they go past your old house where you used to live. And this doesn't necessarily have to be someone you're in a relationship with. It could be friendships, right? Where you feel like, hey, I can go months, years without talking to this person, and then we connect, and they're always the same person I've always known them to be, and just nice, and you have this perception of them, and a lot of times you don't even know these people truly. And when you look back and you see how they might have treated others, or they might have went downhill in their life or turned to drugs, whatever the case is, you look back and you realize these are people that kept popping up in my life. And I say that because I looked at certain experiences that I've had with people in the past, and the first person I dealt with before the narcissist that I was with over a decade with, we had this relationship where I think because I was young, I wasn't fully there. I had school and things like that going on. So I feel like when we were together, and it would just be like, hey, it's summer. I'm not thinking about boyfriend, girlfriend, just being naive, right? And I would remember this person, the first narcissist that I dealt with, but the difference between them and the narcissist I was with is that I was immature. I didn't know nothing about relationships. I was still a kid, and I think that they were more wide awake than I was, and they were looking for more, and they saw, hey, this person, they're they're not there, right? So this person moved on. I would call them my friend, right? Throughout the years, as I got older, I would call them my friend because eventually it just turned to a friendship, and anytime they were in a relationship, they would tell me, or they would, complain about this person, or because I was close to that person's family, that person would complain about that person, right? I also didn't realize how dangerous it is when you're friends with someone you dated, right? So you might think in your mind, you don't know you're being triangulated, but that person, that new supply, whoever they're with, might look at you as a threat, or might look at you as someone who the narcissist might go back to. So this person ended up passing away, but I always, till the last moment, right, a little bit before this person passed away, they showed up. They were like, oh, you still live here, we talked, it seemed like they were going through a lot. I could see it in their eyes. They looked drained. And maybe I would say 6-7 months later, he ended up overdosing on drugs and passed away. And another thing is that part of what fueled, because there's two sides to every story, right? Part of what fueled a lot of his emotions was that he had a lot of seizures. So because of this, I feel like he had a lot of anger, a lot of, he felt inadequate, and, he just felt like certain people have certain opportunities, things that they take for granted. Even if a narcissist brings you down to a low level and you gotta work your way up, and you're working a hourly job and you're not getting paid much, he would look at certain people and would envy just that, because everywhere he worked, eventually he would get laid off because of his seizure. So I feel like a lot of his behavior came from that. And what we tend to do with narcissists is that when they go through things or they've been through things, we feel sorry for them. We excuse a lot of their behavior. But I remember, even in an instance, prior to us not talking and reuniting prior to his death, is that he started acting obnoxious. And I remember I wasn't going for it. I was just like, you're a little bit, older than me. He wasn't too older, but he was a little older than me, to where I felt like I was more mature. I had my own place at 18. And I remember he was kind of like disrupting my neighbors in the balcony. And I was like, this dude's immature. And I just kind of cut them off from then on. But like I said, we added each other on social media. So I feel like at the end of the day, I never really knew them. I just knew the version that I had created in my mind, right? And I could say they weren't a narcissist, because a narcissist would have stayed with you and tortured you and did all these things to you. But at the same time, this person didn't have direction. And I think they almost, in a sense, spared me, right? Because they knew, sometimes the narcissist knows it's not going to work out. Like, if I stick around long enough, you're definitely not going to put up with it, right? So prior to his death, he hoovered. And this is someone where, in my brain, I always felt like it's not going to be the last time I see you, right? Because I felt like every couple of years, So then when I ran into the narcissist that I was in a relationship with, I think that's why it became normal for me to experience that hoover, discard, that cycle, and kind of like let it go, where it's like during a discard, it would hurt to be, ignored, but it wasn't. I almost intuitively knew, like, you're not leaving, you're not going anywhere, almost, in a sense. And I think it's because it became normal to me, to where I thought that that's what people do. They get upset, they need to cool off sometimes you argue or have disagreements, you need a little space. But then it just started becoming more and more diabolical, more demonic, more stalkerish, more possessive, and not just that, but evil. The way they attack you with their words, the way they share with you the things that you've shared with them, and make a mockery of you, right? They'll sit there and mock you, and in your best times, your best moments, you could see it in their eyes that they're jealous. And you'll even, in times where you should be celebrated, you're giving your gifts to the narcissist. You're like, this is a moment for me, but I could see it in the narcissist's eyes, like there's this hate. So a part of you will try to make your moment also about them. You'll try to include them in your moments. But anytime you uplift them in those moments where they feel invincible, that's when they try to tear you down, and you're almost in shock looking at them like, are you even a human being? Are you even a real person? Like you're almost baffled, because you're like, who does this person think they are? And they have this arrogance of, I think I'm better than you. And sometimes when you think about it, sometimes in the beginning, you're the one that's giving them a shot to even be around you. You're the one that's like, you feel like you're a gift to them because you're helping them out of a dark place based off of what they've shared with you. And when you share things, you're kind of like, I've went through these same things and I got through it, right? You're not understanding that the narcissist becomes like their abuser. They don't react the way you're reacting, learning from the abuse and trying to figure out how to move forward and to find things that will make you happy. But they relate to those people and they feel like they are a better version of those people, and they could be way more sinister than them. So when I was younger, because my mom had children, my brothers and my siblings or whatever after me, but with my dad, he wasn't in the picture. So I remember the narcissist, his parents got divorced when he was young, so his dad was kind of like in and out. Like, he would promise him things and then lie and then come around the house and spend time with them, and he didn't want you bringing up what he promised you, and he felt like, hey, I'm a good dad, I'm in your life, look, I'm not like certain dads or certain narcissists that just never look back. So his whole thing also was the put downs, put down what your sons are doing, their careers, put them down, but at the same time use the information from your sons to try to sustain a living as well. So, a lot of narcissists, they'll listen to your plans, your business ideas, and then they'll go pull through with those things and compete with you, and you'll start. So what he felt a lot was his dad competing with him almost, or his dad coming around his sons and acting like he's young, like he's one of them, or almost like a friend. So I started to see that the narcissist displays a lot of those behaviors even with his daughter. It's like, instead of being a father, it almost starts looking weird, like, so then you start thinking, well, maybe it's me because I didn't have a consistent father figure. But no, I had men in my life, stepdad, my grandfather, and there's definitely a difference in what I've, that's what the narcissist will point out right away, because my stepdad and grandfather passed away. So they will try to pick on your traumas, and when you start to see things, they'll point out your fears or what you've been through, and basically look at you like, no, there's something wrong with you. No, it's because you don't know what it's like, or whatever the case is. But even when it comes to giving their children advice, their advice is very condescending. So with my dad, right, what the crazy part about that is that when I was in college, I was really close to this girl, and me and her hung out. She introduced me to her friends. One of her guy friends, come to find out, was actually my cousin, right? And if you guys are from Cali, my family is from LA. So my dad, so I basically lived like in South Central, and my dad was in Compton. So that's not that far, right? That's like a 15-minute drive, if even that, right? So small world. I'm hanging out with my friend who lives in Compton, my cousin. Now I know this is my cousin. He's like, oh shit, like, that's your dad. His dad and my dad are brothers. So long story short, my dad basically came over to visit me at my family's house. Like, he just drove by out of nowhere, knocked on the door. Me and him talk, right? And during this conversation, he said something that really stuck out to me. He said, I always passed by your house, like, wondered what you were up to. He said, even one time I remember you and your mother walking, and I pulled over, and I do recall that, but I remember looking at him, right? Because he was arguing with my mom, and he was basically telling me to get in his car, like, hey, I want you to go, I'm going to take you to your grandma's house. And when I heard that, I knew exactly where I was at. When I heard that, I automatically ran as fast as I could to my grandmother's house. I just ran because he said, I'm going to take you to your grandmother's house. So I remember running to my grandmother's house. But that was one of the occasions where I saw him, right? And I would always think to myself, how could he live so close and, like, not say anything, right? So when I got a little older, he said to me, I always drove past the house and wondered what you were doing or what you look like now and things like that. So that always stuck out to me because I said to him, I said, why would you pass by the house and not say anything, right? Like, why weren't you there? I couldn't understand that. After I went through it, I went through narcissist abuse with a narcissist, and I started to pick up on the narcissist. They're hoovering tactics, right? They're always hoovering, discarding, triangulating, right? And then eventually when that final discard comes, you don't hear back from them for months or whatever the case, or years. But if they know you're not fully awake or aware to narcissism, meaning that they might send you an email or a text and you entertain it, or they might call you, or you might question them. They might discard you, and that makes you might feel like I didn't do anything to deserve the discard. So you start almost kind of like investigating, like, what's up with it? What's this person's deal? Is it someone else? You start to question everything. And you might find things. You might snoop through their friend list and find people that they flirt with or talk to, or people they were in a relationship with that almost overlapped your relationship. Anything. You could look up stuff. You might question them. You might bump into the narcissist. Someone might see the narcissist with someone else. Whatever the case is, there's going to be a point where you're questioning everything, but in your questioning, what did you do? Like, you could have been on good terms and this person just disappears. A lot of times what happens is that the narcissist will hoover. They will come back. The moment that you know who they are, what they are, the evil behind them, the fact that they're projecting everything that they've been through in their life, and they're using you as a tool, basically as a sacrifice to get ahead in life, in society, in finances, to get validation and or intimacy, whatever the case is. Once you know what they are, they usually don't come back. When you're still unaware or not enough time has passed by and the narcissist knows you're still unaware of what they are, and they know that you're probably thinking of them, you're probably conflicted, you're probably trying to move on, you're probably really hurt right now. When they know your emotions are still in it, they typically will hoover, and they will typically drive past your house. You don't know they're driving past your house, but they do this, whether you're aware of it. The first moment the narcissist did this to me, right, where they drove past my school, and this is like in 2 years maybe into the relationship, they drove past my school, And they wrote out, my car was really dusty in the back, and they wrote, "I love you." And I remember all the girls at school start laughing, and they're like, "You have a secret admirer?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Which one of you guys did this?" So I really thought one of the girls at school did this. So later on, time passed by. Narcissist reaches out, and they're like, did you see what I wrote on your car? And I'm like, "Why would you do that?" He's like, "I was just in the neighborhood. I was just by, and I was trying to see if I saw you so that maybe we can get lunch or something, because you've been ignoring me. You blocked me or whatever." I knew I was done with this person because we had an incident where we went out to dinner, and he was just being impatient even though it was a weekend, and he basically walked off and kind of like embarrassed me in front of people because he was like, "Oh, the waitress, she's not coming back. She's not doing her job. She's not paying attention. They're not treating us with respect." So he like stormed out and like made this show and embarrassed me. And the couple like next to us was kind of like, "What the hell is his deal?" type of thing. And I remember just drinking my drink. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to drink my drink. Like, I'm going to drink my drink. I'm not leaving. I'm not going to spaz out with you just because you spazzed out. Like, you're just going to have to wait till I drink my drink and I come out. So then he gets upset and he takes off because I didn't go with him. So that's basically a little, the reason being to where I felt this person wasn't right for me, but then they insisted, right? So they wrote on my car. I'm like, I'm over them, right? It's very dangerous when you take the narcissist around your family, friends, and people that you know, because first of all, they remember every place that you take them. They keep track of every place you've taken them to. They try to connect with your friends, your family, anyone connected to your friends or family. They might even try to connect to them. And they do this sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, because this is a habit of theirs where they like to take supplies to the same places. They want people to bump into each other, know of each other, or you'll be standing next to the past supply in the same room and don't know it's them. So this is why they will stalk you, and when they don't hoover you, don't think they won't hoover you. My grandmother got hoovered at 90 years old because they think that's enough time for you to forgive them. So, and that's just I'm just adding that on here. That's another thing, another tactic that they will do. This is why you have to be careful, because once the discard is finalized and you know what type of demon you're dealing with, that doesn't mean that it's over. They will gang stalk you even though you're unaware of it. So next incident, right? Now I went to go visit my grandmother, and I remember her looking out the window and she goes, "There's papers all over your car." And all I could think is someone is messing with my car. She's like, "There's like lots of papers, look." So I look out the window. I'm talking about maybe 40 sticky notes all over my windows. I'm thinking someone's playing a prank on me. Someone is effing with me, or someone is vandalizing my shit. So the reason, me linking it to the narcissist was the last thing on my brain is because I don't live with my grandmother. He lives around close to the neighborhood, but not too close either. And it's like, why are you even driving past her block? Like, what was the purpose? And what's crazy is, how would he know I was there when I don't even go over there like that? So I go out there, there's papers flying on the floor, start picking up the papers. And when I look back at all this shit, I'm just telling you guys, I feel like I was in a Lifetime movie, but I didn't know that I was the main character in a Lifetime movie because I didn't even know people like this existed. So I'm looking at the papers. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you, I love you, I love you, marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me. I'm getting emails sent because I blocked this person, so they're sending me emails. Hey, let me take you out to this, basically this 5-star restaurant, right, in mid city. So they're like, oh, let me take you out to this nice restaurant, please. Like, let's just start all over. And no one taught me how to love. No one taught me this. Every fucking excuse you can think about. Then he started sending me like pictures of like engagement rings, because at the time I told them, like, we've been together for 2 years. Like, I'm not here to play games. Like, I already know what I want, right? So they're sending me pictures of engagement rings, and they're like, pick one, which one you want, what kind of cut do you want, just doing the most. So at this moment, I'm kind of like shook, because I'm like, how did they know I was at my grandmother's house, right? But then at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe he cares about me. He's that desperate. He loves me that much that he knows he messed up. And I'm thinking to myself, no one is going to go hard for you like this unless they want to be with you. Like, who does this, right? Unless someone is really remorseful for how they've treated you. So I take this person back. Eventually. I didn't make it that easy, but eventually, right? They're sending flowers or doing things. Eventually, I take the narcissist back. It's not too long after I took them back that we're back to the same bullshit. Disappearing, doing weird stuff, getting angry like I did something to them, all the gaslight, the projecting, and that time that I kind of spent away from him, I spent bettering myself. So I felt really good about myself, my body, everything. I felt back to myself again almost. So they came, and it wasn't that easy to drain my energy. So it almost seemed like they were trying to drain my energy, but it wasn't working. So it was almost like they wanted to have me on that hamster wheel again, but at the same time, I had so much of my confidence back where I knew I could do better than you, right? So the narcissist can tell when you're distant, where you're still like, I could leave you, I can start again, I can move on. Someone would be glad to have me. They can feel your energy. They study you very well. You become almost a captive to the narcissist. It becomes a fucking game to them. So now, at that time, right, I had just graduated school, waitressing, bartending, and he shows up at the job, and I see him like in the crowd, and I'm like looking at him, and I could see him skimming the room looking for me. So I go around, pop up on him, behind him, what's up, He's like, oh, I was looking for you. And he had brought me, it was on Valentine's Day, he had brought me some chocolate covered strawberries and like little gifts. And a lot of the girls at the time that I was working with, not all of them, but a lot of the girls that I was working with had got gifts from their significant others. So I almost kind of felt like, hey, we're all getting gifts from our dudes. I guess I'm in the clear. Like, I guess I'm good. He's paying me attention. He's doing stuff. But I'm not thinking to myself, why did he just come up here like that? I'm not thinking to myself that maybe all these women in here that are getting gifts, maybe their dudes ain't shit either. They know you're at work, and they're giving you stuff so that you don't entertain a lonely person at the bar or the people that are dining in. So I'm thinking maybe all these dudes ain't shit. In my head, I'm thinking it. And I also felt like the narcissist was going through something, and I also felt like they were up to something, meaning that looking back now, They probably just wanted to make sure I was at work. They're like, here, I'm going to give you something because I'm getting ready to go take someone else out. And really, now that I look back, I feel like that's what it was. Then when we went out later on that night, he was a complete asshole. So he was acting like something was bothering him. And it's almost like he went from being excited for later on to now he's not excited. Like something happened. Maybe his plans didn't play out the way he wanted. Maybe he was planning on going out with me and then going out with the other person. The other person was like, hey, I can't right now, maybe later on. And later on, now he has his phone off or something, you know. Now looking back, I could see that happening because they were extremely sneaky. But just the simple fact that they popped up at my job, the way they were skimming the room like an animal hunting its prey, and I'm looking at him, and honestly, when I think back, I don't even recognize that person. I'm like, he was like an animal, right? So he basically jacks up that dinner date, but we tried to make the most of it, but his energy was definitely off. Then eventually later on that night, it's like he didn't even care anymore. So part of me was kind of like something was bothering him. Now we've kind of had a good time. I don't even think he's thinking whatever, you know, he had his mind on or whatnot. So looking back now, I'm like, none of that was normal. Him just popping up like that, skimming the room, trying to make me have like sympathy for him, not really explaining what's going on, giving me half-truths about what's going on, and then being bothered. And the next thing you know, like I said, the night ended and it seemed like he wasn't worried about whatever he was worried about before. But at the same time, there was this like he almost kind of blamed me. And that's what kept making me feel like maybe there's someone else, because this is his emotions. Is like 1 minute he's here, 1 minute he's out, he's conflicted, whatever the case is, right? But it's the gaslighting. It's them coming to the job, trying to give me a gift, but really the way they look, like they were skimming the room and they were in desperation. And when I walked up behind them, how their whole attitude just changed to just being charismatic. It was like something was going on. And I was right, because shortly, you know, Valentine's Day is over and now they're back to this hateful spirit, acting almost as if they didn't just go over and beyond just to get to me, right? So it's like they want to keep you in this leash. They don't want anyone to have you, type of thing. And then they're stalking you. They're coming around. They're following you around. They won't leave you alone. There's this behavior. It's like they're like having a manic episode, right? It almost seems like that, like they're not in their right mind, but you're not seeing that at that time. So yeah, they did that. But if I was to go to his job or do the things that he's done or hoovered him or come unannounced, they will literally put their hands on you. They will literally get in a rage where it looks like they want to kill you. Or it's like they will feel like, how dare you? And the only thing that crosses your mind is you're bringing the new supply. You got someone over here. You're hiding someone from me. It's like they're hiding something, because they're playing all these games with you. They can hoover you. They can spy on you. They can come and pull up in front of your home. But if you do these things when they discard you and you're asking for questions because you feel like you didn't do anything for a discard, if you start hoovering them, you know, for a change, because that might not even be your personality. That's when now they will attack you. They will tell people, flying monkeys, that you're insecure, you're obsessed with them. So the moment you do something that they do, and it's not even to the level that they've done it to you, they're telling other people. A lot of times when they did these things to you, you either didn't tell anybody, or the people around you, like my grandmother seeing those notes, people will start thinking, that man is crazy. That man needs to leave you alone. That man is too damn old to be coming and doing this to you and playing with you like this. He needs to get a life. You're not thinking that in the moment. You're not thinking this person their spirit is attached to many different spirits and souls, and this person is working with demonic forces. You're not knowing. You can't tell the difference between a good spirit and a bad spirit, because you're not, even if you test the spirit, you still don't understand evil. Because you keep thinking you can change these people. You think you could keep being good to them, keep forgiving them, you keep showing them that you're not going to abandon them the way other people have. But they don't care, because they look at it like things already happened to them. A lot of things didn't happen to them on their favor. A lot of times they already know the bad karma that's coming to them anyway. They feel like they're going to lose anyway, even if they do the right thing. And they don't appreciate that even if they have to pay for the bad karma, they don't appreciate the people that are in front of them. And this is why a lot of times they end up with nothing. And when they end up with nothing, now they come to you like they're this good person, and they're begging and pleading and stalking you, right? But if you're aware of what they are, they will not look for you. They will not come looking for you no more. So moments like that, it was moments where I wouldn't talk to them, based off of their disrespect, because I felt like, oh, this person, they already know how I am. You disrespect me, I'm gonna discard you. But every time I put up that wall because I wanted to respect myself, and you're making the narcissist work hard to get with you, eventually when they get back with you, you're going to have to pay for it. So you don't know that until you forgive them, and then the abuse starts to get worse, and it gets to a sinister level where you look at them and it's almost like they want you dead, and you're wondering, what did I do to this person for them to want me dead? And they're the ones who've been effing with me the whole time. So another instance is the narcissist. I remember them sitting in their car in front of my house for hours, right? And they're like, I'm not going to leave until you talk to me. I don't care if I sleep here. He'll text me, email me, hey, my phone died, I had to charge it, but I'm still here. And they just desperate. These narcissists, they will come to your window. They will climb up your windows. They will try to break into your house. They will try to force themselves in your home, especially if they know you live alone. If they know you live with someone, they know, hey, someone might call the police. So it doesn't mean that's going to stop them from trying to pass by your house and look for you. But these people will literally pass by your house, see if they see your car, follow you. If you pull out of your driveway, they'll follow you around until they talk to you, until they force themselves back in your life, because to them, they feel like you still don't know what I am. You still don't know I have a bad spirit. You still don't know I want to hurt you. I want to use you. I want to abuse you. I want to, you still don't know that you're nothing but supply to me, that I don't even look at you like a real person, that I don't care about the damage I've caused in your life. I know what I'm doing. And I keep playing so dumb with you that you're even asking yourself if I'm actually aware of my own actions. And that's when they'll drop the mask and say, yeah, yeah, I know my own actions, and they'll call you names, and they'll say this and that. They'll point out your flaws. They'll tell you nobody wants you, nobody will ever want you. So that's where they'll start, bringing your traumas. Go get your brother, go get your dead daddy. Oh, if your daddy was alive, I'll beat him up. They'll start talking crazy. They'll start talking really, like, it sounds like someone is literally possessed. It's like when you see a movie with like demon possession, and it's just saying nasty things to you, and it knows things it shouldn't know, and it's saying your deepest, darkest secrets, and it's laughing, and it's trying to torture you. That's literally what it feels like when a narcissist is trying to wake you up to what they are. And they'll tell you, look in my eyes. You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing games? This is really who I am. Oh, I've done this before. I've treated other people worse than you. They'll start telling you what they are and what they do. They'll even tell you that they are just like the people who've abused you before. That spirit will say, oh, I got that spirit that your mother got. I got that spirit that your narcissistic father has. I'm just like them. They'll start exposing themselves in that light. So what happens is that when a narcissist has moved on, and they haven't hoovered you because they know what they are and what they did to you and the damage they caused in your life, and how they were nothing but miserable people who came into your life trying to make you miserable and make you pay for what someone else has done to them. And even when you made them aware of it and you told them, hey, if someone else made you feel that way, why would you do it to me? If someone else made you feel that way and hurt you, why would you do it to me when I wouldn't do that to you? You'll try to keep showing them that you have a pure soul, and they won't care. So what people don't know about narcissists, just like my dad said, I used to pass by your house all the time. What people don't know is the narcissist does the same thing. So when I told you guys this story so many times, but when I started dating, maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years, whatever, after the narcissist, a long time had passed by. I didn't want to date nobody. I was still healing. I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't watch TV. Deleted all my social medias. The only thing I had was YouTube, so I would just make videos. And I ran across a guy who seemed really nice. We exchanged numbers. I met him in person. It kind of just happened naturally. And I thought to myself, okay, this was kind of like organic. I met someone. I don't even have social media. And I met them organically. And I'm thinking maybe it's a sign. Maybe God sent this person because they have a great business. They have a home. They have their life in order. So I don't have to worry about someone trying to take from me or trying to use me, because this person doesn't want nothing from me but to spend time with me and get to know me. And they're taking things slow. And I'm not kidding you. We went out on a couple dates, and next thing you know, I had this feeling, call it intuition, whatever. And a lot of times I want to ignore my intuition because I'm always right. I'm literally always right about people. So I always second guess myself because I always want to see the good in people. And I'm always like, bitch, you can't be right all the fucking time. Like, come on now. You got to stop this shit. You can't live like that, because it makes you look paranoid. Even though you're not paranoid, you're just observing people. But it just felt like too good to be true type of thing. But my intuition said to me, he's driving, he had this motorcycle, right? The dude. He had a couple cars, but he had this motorcycle, this Harley. And I remember I heard a Harley pass by, but it could have been anybody, right? Because there's cars, motorcycles passing by all the time. But I'm in my home and I hear the Harley pass by, and my intuition said, that's him. That's him. And all I could think about is, girl, you're crazy, right? So some time passed by, and he calls me. He's like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Like, I want to take you out. Let's go somewhere. Let's get breakfast or something, or go see a movie. And I was like, I'm not home right now. And he goes, that's weird. He said, oh, I thought you were home because I just passed by your house. And that's when I knew he passed by the house. So my intuition was like, see, you were right. And I told him, I said, oh, my car is there, but I'm not there. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. All I'm thinking of is my spirit is telling me to not get my hopes high, to be careful. Eventually, you know, we keep on dating. Next thing you know, he's basically telling me that he feels like I'm holding back. That he's like, you know, what happened in your past relationship? And I was like, nothing happened. Like, people just grow apart type of thing. Like, I kept it short. I didn't want to talk about it. And it almost seemed like he was trying to force me to trust him. And he was trying to make me think about my trauma, to make me feel like I need to hurry up and move on. Like I'm going to miss out on something good because I'm stuck on the past. It's like he knew that a part of me was broken, even though I wasn't showing it. So it made me feel like I had to do something different, right? Because he would invite me over to his home, and I would always be like, no, like, we're still dating. Like, I don't feel like I'm ready to go to your home or anything like that. And he's like, I'm not going to try anything with you. Like, you know, like, just to hang out, you know, watch movies. I promise I won't do anything. So when I finally go, because I'm like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping, right? I go. He has this like little sofa chair thing next to his bed. Sit on it. He's like, sit on the bed. How come you don't want to sit close to me? So I sit on the bed. And then he's like getting ready to kiss me, but like he's smiling, right? He's smiling at me. And when he smiles at me, it looked like his canine teeth got bigger. Like, I'm looking at him and it looks like his canine teeth just grew, right? And then he starts trying to touch me in places I don't want to be touched. And that's when I was like, I gotta go. I gotta leave. And he's like, what's wrong with you? So I basically took off. I literally flew out of there like Superman, Superwoman. I literally flew. And he called me and he's like, I've never had a girl do that to me and just take off like that. Like, you literally ran out of my house like you were afraid. Like, and at that moment, I thought to myself, like, maybe you got PTSD, bitch, because who the fuck just runs out of someone's house like their life depends on it, right? So I stopped talking to him. My intuition was like, just don't talk to him no more, right? Because I got freaked out with the teeth. Shortly after, maybe like a week passed by, he called. I answered and I apologized to him, and he goes, I told my friend about that, and he's like, what did you do to her to make her like run out like that? And he's like, why, you know, like what's up with that? He's like, I actually drove past your house. I was gonna come and see if you were okay, but I didn't want you to think I'm weird or anything. And I was like, no, I don't think you're weird. It's me who's acting weird, right? And he seemed like, you know, like he was over it or whatever. Like, we kind of like laughed it off and just, it was whatever. And a part of myself was still telling myself, like, don't talk to this person, like, just stop talking to them. Because when me and him talked to each other, not only did he say he passed by, he was going to talk to me, he also said to me, I was going to send you flowers. When he said that to me, it literally reminded me of the narcissist that I was with, because that's something he would do. Like, I'm not speaking to him because he discarded me for no reason. He's the type that would send flowers or do something like that. So when he said that to me, I automatically thought about the narcissist when he said that. I was like, he said he passed by the house. The narcissist would do that. My dad would do that. And he said he would send me flowers. So I was like, it's almost like I'm dealing with the same demons, like in different bodies almost, right? Like there's this demonic connection to all these people. So I stopped talking to him cold turkey, like just stopped talking to him, even though he didn't do anything, even though we made up. I bumped into him after, but when we saw each other, it was respectful, you know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, how you doing? It was no bad blood. He kind of laughed and chuckled, like, you got me, bitch. Like, you figured me out quick. Like, you saw through my shit. He was almost kind of like, it's almost like he liked that. Because he even, like, hooked me up with some shit, you know. So, when me and him connected again, it was like, oh, you're in the game. You know what's going on type of thing. And it was almost like, I'll show you some love here, you know, here for my bullshit. Here you go, right? So he treated me with respect when I saw him. It wasn't like he was angry or he was acting weird, but it was like he was almost proud, like, you saw through my games, through my bullshit. I don't know how you figured it out, but, like, you got a fucking gift type of thing. Like, that demon in him knew that I could see who he was. And that's because shortly after, my friend from another state moved back to California. So me and her is like, let's hang out, go hang out with her. I'm telling you guys, the moment that I hugged her, when I saw her for the first time in years, my intuition, the voice, that voice in my head, that's not my voice, said to me, call it my guardian angel, I don't know. The voice said to me, ask her if she knows the guy you were dating, the one I told you to stop talking to. Because the voice is the ones, like, the one I told you, you know, the voice is telling me, ask her if she knows him. Because the voice is trying to let me know you're about to find out why you shouldn't have been talking to that demon, because all these demons are connected to each other. That's why God says that you have to test the spirit. Does this person have a bad spirit or a good spirit? So when I hugged my friend, the voice said, ask her if she knows him. I'm like, no, she's going to think I'm weird. The voice said, what are you going to lose? So I asked her, and she goes, yeah, I do know him. Why do you ask that? Did he send you over here? I'm like, no, he didn't send me over here. Then why are you asking me about him? So you knew I was talking to him. I'm like, no, I did not know you were talking to him. I literally just found out right now. She said, how did you find out? I said, my intuition told me to ask you if you know him. She's like, I don't believe you. I'm going to call him right now. My intuition said, see, she doesn't believe you. My intuition said, they're all demons. She's a demon too. Not too shortly, figured it out, right? Very pretty girl, but I figured it out that she was the Jezebel spirit. Everything about her, Jezebel spirit. She was even envious, jealous of me for no reason. She seemed like she wanted to sabotage me, but at the same time want to be my friend. She wanted to use me, but she can't use me, so I'm not really beneficial for her. Her energy was just dark. And then she kept acting like she was a victim, or she's the one narcissists have played, but then she's still sleeping with these narcissists, and the narcissist that she was sleeping with at that moment, see, she's not even dealing with that guy, she's dealing with another guy, because she's dealing with multiple guys. The guy that I knew was just another guy in her roster that got money and takes her out on dates. So he's like, you know, and when I caught him, he said, me and her, I'm not saying we resemble one another, but we're both biracial. So I guess in a way I feel like he has a type, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, it's kind of, the whole thing was kind of weird, because the guy that she's actually serious with, who she has living with her, is dealing with another, he's friends with another Jezebel spirit who he dated, but now she's her, they're just supposedly friends, and she's friends with the other girl who's a Jezebel spirit, who's friends with the guy she's with, that she's living with. So that's basically his friend, and introduced her to my friend, and they are basically friends, but the girl has a history with him, but basically they have a history when they were younger, so they're only friends, you know, now that, you know, they're adults. But the girl that he brought around her, I actually knew her too. So I told her I actually know her. So I'm like, this is kind of freaky. So everyone's knowing each other and knows of each other, and we didn't even know there was a connection. So I knew the girl that she's friends with is the Jezebel spirit, because I have another friend who was a Jezebel spirit, and she's connected to her. So I was never friends with this girl. She was friends with another Jezebel spirit that I cut off. Because after the narcissist relationship, I literally cut everyone off. I didn't trust nobody, because I realized I never really knew anyone, because I never tested their spirit. I just assumed we're friends. I just assumed I should trust these people. So it's like you're cleaning house. So you're cleaning house and getting rid of entities, but then you're coming across new entities who know people from your past. So even with the narcissist that I was in a relationship with, when I first started dating him, my grandmother's friend lived across the street. So it almost seemed like these spirits kept following me, people from my past, even though I don't speak to my grandmother. Here goes her friend across the street telling my business, oh, your granddaughter's living over there with this guy. So all my business was just going around. And it's crazy, because it didn't matter if we moved, me and the narcissist moved to a whole nother city. Here comes someone from my past that even he knows, which I started to think this is freaky. So now I'm like, oh, I can't trust no one, right? So now I'm like I can't trust no one, none of these narcissists. So now my intuition, you know, told me your friend's not going to believe you, whatever. Come to find out, she dealt with that guy, but I had already cut him off. So that's when the spirit told me, you have to be careful who you talk to, who you're intertwining with, who you sleep with, because people are not what you think that they are. There are evil entities in a lot of people. You're unaware of it. We know that there's good spirits and bad spirits, but what type of spirits have attached themselves to these people? Because if this spirit was telling me, this higher energy was telling me these things about people, how I'm just human. How would I know that my friend is dealing with someone just by touching her or being around her? How would I know these things? So there's this higher power for sure that I cannot deny. But like I said, I never thought about it in a sense of testing people's spirits, because this higher energy is telling me and telling me something to protect me. So you got to be good in a sense, because you're trying to do something good. I don't know if you're good or not, but I know you're trying to do something good, because you're trying to keep me from harm, meaning that I have a good spirit, guardian angel watching over me. even when I'm alone, I've seen miracles happen where I'm like, I'm alone in this world, but somehow miracles keep happening, like I have something protecting me, someone protecting me, right? So when people say test the spirit, does that person have a good spirit protecting them, or does that person have a bad spirit who is controlling them, right? So from all these people that I've ran across, all these narcissists, one thing that they all have in common is that they always keep track of what I'm doing. They always circle around, or they spy, or they drive past the house like that dude did in his Harley, like my dad did, like the narcissist did, like friends from my past have done. These demons always, they don't change, and then on top of that, they always circle back around. So even when you don't hear from them, they're driving past your house. They're looking up what you're up to. They're hoping on your downfall. They're preying on your downfall. So that's when I knew some people got good spirits, some people got bad spirits, and then it got to the point where I could see the bad spirits in people, and now it's to the point where I could see them fast. Like, I just look someone in the eyes and I could see it. The eyes are the windows to the soul, so now I could just see it right away. In certain people, I could see the bad spirit, but they talk that good game that sometimes they kind of fool me. And then I have to process the conversation I had with them, because they were so charismatic that I have to process the conversation, and I start going over all the red flags, and I'm like, no, that person got a bad spirit. But what does it have to gain? What does that spirit have to gain? The thing that most people forget is that these people will always do the things that you won't do. So a lot of times it's so easy to figure them out, because you almost got to think the opposite of what you would do. And then when you see that they do the opposite from what you would do, or how you would behave, or how you would treat someone, or how you would behave in public, or how you will react to certain situations based on your understanding on life and death, you realize that the purpose that you can't judge these spirits, but you have to protect yourself. In moments where you know you have to protect others, you're there for a reason. So you have to listen to your calling as well, because life is about life and death. And if life is about life and death, that means that there's good and there's bad. There's good spirits, there's bad spirits. The empath brings life, the narcissist brings death. Once you understand that, you understand that you have to stay away from death. Death is death will happen to everyone, but you know that because you are different, your purpose is life. So when I started testing people's spirits, I started to see them more clear than ever. And what I started to notice, right, like I said, that narcissists, they will drive past your house, they will walk past your house, they will spy on you. They, just how sometimes the empath wants to know what's up with the narcissist, right? Sometimes you get that little itch too, where you might want to know what's up with this person, but you don't know that they are stalkers. Just like how they were hoovering, discarding you, popping up, showing up in different places, forcing themselves on you, and the moment you did it to them, they didn't like it. You have to understand that those behaviors, they don't change just because they're with a new supply. This is why sometimes they'll even breadcrumb you. They'll even come back and give you false hopes. Sometimes they come back just to see what you're up to. Sometimes they come back wanting to be friends and you're still in pain and you're like, what the fuck? I don't want to be friends. Like, I'd rather just not talk to you. The narcissist comes around playing games with your heart, like they'll play with you, if you let them. They'll sit there and puppet you with the strings and do whatever they want because they know you haven't healed. Because once they know you've healed, they'll come back around in the middle of you healing. But they know that once you heal, you're going to see their spirit in other people. And you're going to see that they're all the same. Once you realize that, they will not come back, but they will pass by your home. And I was just telling it. So the reason I'm bringing up this subject, I know I talked for a whole hour, but I talked to you guys to give you different examples, my experiences when it comes to narcissists. I was just telling someone, right, that was telling me about, the narcissist abuse in the family and fighting over money and things like that, right? Because everyone goes through that because life is about life and death. And usually what happens during life and death is that the narcissist will sacrifice you and they will take money. They will steal money from their siblings. They will steal money from their husband's wife. They'll force you to start all over, or they'll leave you in debt. They'll attach, they'll leave you in debt. They'll steal money and leave you with a house payment. They'll do all these things, right? So I told this person, even though they feel like they won, they stole this money, they took off, they ignore you, I'm telling you now, I wouldn't be surprised if these people fucking drive past your house out of the blue. They just do it just to see what cars are in the front, just to see how your house looks, just to see if you're keeping your house nice, just to see if they accidentally see you. They want to see what you look like. They want to see if they drained you, if you look drained. I told her, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, because that's what they do. They'll spy on you, or they'll spy on the people that know you, or they'll spy on people that are on your corner. So you might not have a lot of people. You might have one person around you who's there for you through your narcissist abuse journey, and who's always there for you, giving you good words of encouragement and love. They're always one call away, whatever the case is. You might have one person. The narcissist might drive past that person's house because they know that you might be there. They might drive past that person's house and break that person's window just because they know that that person's emotionally supporting you, and that person is sitting there calling you, someone did this to me, someone did that to me, I wonder who did that. And you're not even thinking it could be the narcissist, but I'm telling you now, it could be them just trying to stir something up, because in their head they're thinking, oh, I bet you right now her and her friend are talking about what happened to her friend and what happened to her property, or who robbed her friend, and they don't even know who did it. And they're getting off on the rush that they did something. They get off when they can no longer abuse you. They get off on just how they get off on talking about you to other people and how they played you, or how they used you or manipulated you. Or they'll tell other people, oh, my ex, they're still in love with me. Oh, they're obsessed with me. Just how they tell people these things, they will literally get a high from just driving past your house and remembering what they did to you, and wondering, you still live there, or are you doing worse? Or I bet you still live there and you're miserable. You're mad that I sold you false hopes and dreams. So these people will drive past your home. And I said this to this person, right? I said this to this person because we have mutual narcissists that we've dealt with. So I told her, I said, sometimes I feel like those people drive past my house. I just feel it. And I've never been wrong. I've never been wrong. I've always felt when people drive past my house, it's almost like, you ever feel like when someone is getting ready to call you, or you feel like someone is coming to your door and you're like, damn, how did I know someone was coming to the door? And you open the door at the same time before they even get to knock on it. Like them type of moments. That's literally how I feel when a narcissist drives by. I feel their energy sometimes. So, and sometimes they'll bump into you and they're like, oh, I saw you the other day. You were in the front. They'll tell you. But you won't think nothing of it because you're like, oh, that person never did nothing to me. But that just goes to show that people are watching. They're watchers. And when things are going bad in your life and your guardian angels and God helps you through those situations, you'll see that the narcissist people in your life will try to do something to piss you off, but it won't even matter because you already feel like God blessed you or God helped you through something. So you're like, that's weird. It's almost like they hoovered or they said something to get a reaction out of me because they know that God protected me through this situation. So it's almost like they're making, that demon is making its rounds to almost let you know it's still monitoring you. It's monitoring every little thing you do and say. So I said to this person, I wouldn't put it past these people if they're driving past our homes, right? So a couple of days passed by and this person calls me and they were like, you're not going to believe what happened. You were fucking right. I was like, about what? They're like, the narcissist passed by. I saw their car and they thought I wasn't going to see them, but we locked eyes because I just so happened to go outside to wash my car. And when I was going outside to wash my car, they were driving by slowly and they thought I wasn't going to see them, but we locked eyes. They didn't even try to play it off. Like, we locked eyes and then they smiled and kept going. They're fucking weird. And I said to I told you, like, that's what they do. You don't hear from them. You might not talk to them anymore. They know you know what they are. But they'll find ways to torture you. They'll find ways to reach out or talk bad about you to other people so that you can be thinking about what they said. You know, they'll sit there and talk to other people. They'll drive past your house and go down memory lane, getting off on what they got away with, even if their life isn't shit. Even if their life is going downhill and they're getting their karma, they will drive past your house just to be like, but I did them worse than what I'm going through. Yeah, well, I'm going through something, but I don't believe in karma. Bad things happen to everyone, but at least I got over on you. You didn't get over on me. At least I get to say I got over on you. Because I bet you everyone that you've dealt with, I bet you relationships before me, I bet you your family, people, friends, I bet you everyone's fucked over you. People have fucked over me too, but I've fucked over a lot of people as well. I fucked over you at least. So don't be surprised if these people just drive past your house. This is why some people, they move to other states, they relocate, they don't tell their family and friends where they relocated because they already know that how the narcissist moves. And once you dealt with a narcissist, it's almost like you have this soul tie to them. And because you have this soul tie to them, it's like they feel like eventually they're going to bump into you. This is why they become secretive about where they go, places they go to with the new supply, because they're afraid of bumping into old supply. This is why when they do bump into old supply, they act either angry or they act like they don't see you. But you better believe that they're still watching. And this is why when you move on, when you live a happier life, when you forgive and you don't stay stuck in the past and you understand that you can't save those people, that those people are damned, these people are damned, then you're not going to care. You're not going to care. This is why if you move on with your life when you move on, when you choose to finally let go, you will realize that that's the best revenge on someone who, think about it, someone who is acting like they're not worried about you, but they're still low-key spying on you. Just like you might get the urge or something to look, you got to think about it. These are obsessive people. They're obsessing on, are you living a better life as well? They're obsessing of, oh, first you were sad, you were hoovering me and I wasn't taking you back and I made you suffer. They know they ignored you after the final discard. Now they're wondering, I wonder what that person is up to. They might not want to come back, but you better believe that they're nosy, and when they see you're doing good, they get mad. Think about the times you were with them and you felt like, screw the narcissist, they got me messed up, I can find someone else. When you felt moments where you were strong and you could move on with your life, what did they do? They spied on you. And when they saw that you were doing good, you were taking care of yourself, your health, you were dressing yourself nice, you were going to do all the things they kept you from doing, you were taking trips, doing what you've always wanted to do, things that they held you back from doing. You no longer waited for them to do these things for you. What happens? The narcissist comes back around because they want to have the benefits of what you have. I've seen it where people, the narcissist brings them down, and then that person gets a new car. They start getting new good luck from being with them. When they were with them, they lost everything. Now they're getting everything back. And the narcissist, now they want to get back with you, and they act like they don't know you got all this new shit. They act like they don't know you went and bought you a new house, or you got your first apartment. They act like they don't know that you're moving on up. And then what they do, they come, they use you for your supply, what you have to offer. They want to be around you with everything that you worked hard to get. And then as soon as they feel like they were able to use what you have to make themselves look good, what do? They disappear. It's like the timing is always on point. It's always on point because they're always watching. And just because they're not with you and they're with someone else, it don't mean they're not still competing with you. They're still competing with you. They're still trying to make you jealous. They still post memes and things under their pictures to let you know that they're thinking about you. They'll sit there and post things under their pictures saying, oh, this one's for all my haters that are watching. They'll say things where they're assuming you're watching them because they're watching you. They might even be passing by your house. And that's exactly what I said to someone, and that's exactly what happened to them. I told them, I said, she goes, oh, they don't even talk to me. They act like I don't exist. They did all this and just, they're thieves. They were money hungry. I said, don't be surprised that they're still driving past your house just to drive past your house, just to have something to say. Just to be nosy. Just to reminisce. Just because they know that's where you live. Don't be surprised, because every narcissist that I've dealt with, family, friends, relationships, my own dad, they're weirdos. They drive past your house. They look up shit. They know they've done you wrong, but not once have they apologized. What kind of person is wishing the downfall on someone else who's never done nothing to them? Think about it. These are evil entities that are watching you, and they don't do nothing but bring death. And that's why people tell you when they hoover you to not take them back. This is why people tell you to go no contact. This is why people tell you just don't look back no matter what, because it's an evil entity in them. So I hope this message, you guys, was helpful. If you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 5K, and it's not a lot. 5K ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? But we're close. We're really, really close. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, show some love. If you guys want to book a session, you guys already know how to contact me. My information is on the description. And as always, I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.